In 1984, Spanish carmaker Seat released their first car as an independent company, the Ibiza. While the automotive industry boomed in much of post-Second World War Europe, Spain lagged far behind. As our car tester Christoph Bauer explains, in the 1950s when Seat was founded, Spain was really a developing country in terms of its automotive industry. The streets were in poor condition, cars a luxury restricted to the upper class, and buses the most common form of transport, but that soon changed. In 1953, the first Seat left the production line at the Zona Franca factory in Barcelona. Seat was still a state-owned company, and until the 1980s it produced only Fiat models under license. The very first Seat was the 1400, a mid-size sedan, followed by the 1500. Seat produced a whole range of Fiat derivatives, including one of its most popular cars, the Seat 600 and the Panda in the 1980s. In 1984, the newly independent Seat released the Ibiza with its very own stylings, including a black radiator grille and black bumpers. Christoph says the prototype Ibiza was called the S1, as in number 1 Seat, a name that signified a radical new beginning. Independence from Fiat gave Seat a blank slate in Barcelona. The finished product was then crowned the Ibiza after the Balearic Island, which laid the foundations for all future Seat names. Each further vehicle was named after a Spanish city or region, like Córdoba, Marbella, and Alhambra. But hang on, isn't Alhambra a fort? Christoph asks. Well, it still sounds good, which probably wouldn't be the case in Germany. There's Schweinfurt, Rüsselsheim, Castrop-Rauxel. Not quite so sexy. After its split from Fiat in 1981, Seat signed a production agreement with Volkswagen. In 1986, Seat was incorporated into the VW Group, and after 10 years of scrabbling in the dirt, these Spanish car makers were back in the black. Christoph explains that during the Ibiza's development, Seat received massive support from across Europe. The design came from Italy, the bodywork concept from German manufacturer Karmann in Osnabrück, and the engine from Porsche in Stuttgart. Porsche also fine-tuned the chassis, making Ibiza a real gem of its class with excellent road holding and performance that it could be really proud of. Christoph's 1.2-liter model with 71 horsepower has a top speed of 158 kilometers an hour.
58 km/h Spitze.
The Seat Ibiza was the most advanced compact car of its time. Christoph thinks the Seat Ibiza is an archetypal modern compact car, small but roomy. It's exactly the same length as the VW Polo of the time, with roughly the same wheelbase as the Golf MK2. And the result? Extremely short overhangs at the front and back, providing extra space inside for passengers and luggage. This angular hatchback was originally available as a 3-door model only, but the 5-door followed in 1986. Granted, some vintage car lovers would say it's not much to look at, but the first Ibiza has gone on to become a vintage classic and a testimony to the no-frills 80s. The interior is just as roomy and comfortable as higher classification vehicles, but the plastic fittings give it a rather underclass feel. This Ibiza was released in 1991, explains Christoph, after it had undergone a facelift. The new version had different bumpers, white turn indicators, and this unusual plastic covering for the radiator grille, which Christoph doesn't think much of. Time to take a look under the hood. This is a 4-cylinder engine from Porsche. It enjoys a reputation of being maneuverable, sporty, and efficient. And of course, Porsche's signature adds extra panache. At an extra cost to Seat, though, the license for each engine with a Porsche logo ran Seat 7 Deutschmarks. But it's a sound investment for the customer, and probably the cheapest way to drive a Porsche. Of sorts.
Eine günstigere Möglichkeit gibt es kaum, um sagen zu können, Schatzi, ich fahre Porsche.
The 1.2-liter 71-horsepower engine gave the car a respectable performance for the time. At a meager 890 kilograms, the first Seat Ibiza weighed as much as a modern smart car. And Seat soon smoothed out any teething problems it had with quality control during early production. Christoph reckons the Seat Ibiza was a car ahead of its time, built with love and a joy to drive. And it increased Seat's export rate by 76%. Of course, not many cars had been sold abroad before that, but this success added cachet to the brand, and in 1986 Volkswagen took over the company. And so this Seat Ibiza is not just the first, it's the only genuine Seat, because the second generation, starting in 1993, was based entirely on the VW Polo, and it was definitely Volkswagen's baby. With over 5 million vehicles produced, the Seat Ibiza has long been Spain's best-selling car. Even today, this sporty, dynamic little car is a big hit with young drivers.